Well, we are tracking a very strong, severe storm that is going to be making its way into Van Buren County here in just a few moments. We're already starting to see a little bit of rain in northern Van Buren County, but we're watching this storm. It has gotten stronger, then it's weakened a little bit because I think it's dropped large hail and it's potentially in the process of strengthening again. But I wanted to give an alert to everybody in Van Buren County to be watching this storm very closely. Let's go ahead. We're going to go to Skyscan Doppler right away and let's get into this. So here is Clinton. Here's Old Lexington. Here's Denard. And so we can see that it's just south of Smyrna and it's a very strong storm. You can see there is that hail core and it's well defined right here. So we're continuing to watch this storm. It's going to be moving off to the east. And so if you know anybody in the Clinton area, earlier radar, now it doesn't mean this is making it to the ground, but earlier radar was estimating close to 4-inch hail with this. It does appear to be backing off that just a little bit because I think it really intense, dropped the hail. And so now given that there's so much storm fuel, it would not surprise me if this starts to strengthen again. But regardless, this is a severe storm, and we're going to continue to watch this. So, this is a heads up. If you know anybody in Clinton, I think this is going to be a direct path to Clinton. I don't really see anything in the way of rotation, but there's certainly some wind. Anywhere between 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are certainly possible with this storm. It continues to move off to the east and we're watching this storm very closely. So, but I'm serious. If you know anybody in Clinton, Scotland, I would give them a heads up. Botkenberg, Denard. I think this is probably going to go to the south of Denard, but I certainly think Botkenberg, Clinton, Scotland, and I think this goes to the north of Formosa, at least the strongest part of this storm. So we're continuing to watch this very closely, and we are live on a severe thunderstorm warning. So the next update will expand this polygon. It's going to be, they'll expand this, and when they do, it's going to include Fairfield Bay, Morganton, Shirley, Old Lexington. Those areas will be included in the severe thunderstorm warning. So let's continue to watch this very closely. You can see now, if we back up, radar was very intense here, showing some very large hail, but that has appeared to kind of decrease a little bit, but radar still showing right around 2-inch hail. Somewhere in there is what radar is estimating. You think Clinton will get it? Absolutely, Grant. We are set up at Clinton. Okay. Yes. My recommendation is go inside the building. I would take down. You've got just a few minutes. This is a direct path to Clinton. This will have large hail, large destructive hail. I would 100% um, change your plans right now because this is progressing towards the Clinton direction. This is what we call a classic supercell. Now, there's not much rotation with it. There's no, not enough to issue a tornado warning or anything like that. I think the main focus with this particular storm is strictly going to be damaging hail. But again, Hector, this just passed through Hector over towards, and it's to the south of Smyrna. So Scotland over to Clinton, over to Botkenberg, very strong storm here moving to the east, and you need to be keeping an eye on this particular storm. So, Grant, I would highly recommend um, you you go inside. You don't got to take down; just move everything inside before this hits. As of right now, this is off a boundary, and we can almost see where the boundary's firing storms. And so you can see that we've got another storm developing around St. Joe to Gilbert. Snowball, that doesn't really have any hail with it, mainly heavy rain. But the strongest storm is this one particular isolated supercell right here between Smyrna and Scotland. And we've been watching this, been following this with the friends over at KNWA. Um, they've been on this storm for a long time, watching their live stream. And so now that it's in Van Buren County, which we're getting a little bit of thunder here, I can hear that. So that's on the increase. But if you know anybody in this particular area between Scotland, Clinton, Botkenberg, they really need to be watching this storm. Just a few minutes ago, there was wording on this, and there still may be wording, but let's see. They were talking about baseball size hail, um, is what they were talking about. So I'm checking to see if they're continuing on that. Yep, they're continuing on that with baseball size hail potential. Very, very large destructive hail with this particular storm. And given as much storm fuel as we've got, as this storm It was decreasing, and I think the reason for that is because it was dropping the large hail. But given that we've got so much storm fuel to work with, I think it's probably strengthening again. I bet the next radar scan we'll see an increase in hail again with this particular storm. Yeah, you can see it. It's just got that well-defined hail core right there. It's starting to enter Van Buren County now. I tell you what, if we go, let's go max, because I think max is going to give us a better general idea of some better towns. So we see that Lost Corner is in this over towards Austin, over to Rex, near Dabney. Those areas, I think it's impacting Lost Corner right now, or is just moving out of Lost Corner. And so you can see the track. I mean, look, it's a direct shot right to Clinton. You can see that from Lost Corner all the way to Clinton. So anybody that's in Clinton, this is a heads up. This is a very strong storm, very dangerous storm. So you need to be keeping an eye on this. I don't see rotation in terms of any kind of tornadic storm, but this does have large, damaging, destructive hail. So you need to be weather aware and watching the storm very closely. We are live on both YouTube and Facebook, by the way. So if you want to put this on your TV, you can do that. So looking at velocity, see there's really no signs of rotation. There's some some wind gust associated with this, but I think the main primary threat with this is going to be damaging hail. Again, National Weather Service put in their warning criteria, potentially up to baseball size hail is associated with the storm. That's a very strong storm, and it's something that you need to take your precautions on. If we go back, we can see, and I think this does a really good job identifying where the strongest hail is here. So, look, Scotland, this is headed right for you. It's headed between Scotland, Clinton, and Botkenberg, which you know where the weather center is, north of Clinton. So I fully anticipate we will be impacted by this. Hopefully, it starts to die down before it gets here, but I don't, not sold on that given that we've got so much storm fuel as this moves east. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at that real quick. So this is what we're talking about in storm fuel. Very, very strong amounts of storm fuel, almost what we would consider is extreme. You're looking at 6,000 CAPE in this area. I mean, so that's very strong storm fuel. And then now we're looking at this at the surface, which this storm is obviously surface based, so that makes sense. If we look at the mixed layer, there's very strong CAPE as well. So as a storm rises in the vertical, it continues to have plenty of storm fuel for support. So something we're going to continue to watch to see. There's not a lot of wind shear associated with this, but there's enough that it is supporting a very strong and destructive supercell here. Again, I don't see much in the tornado threat with this. I think if anything, this is a damaging wind threat and especially damaging hail. I think damaging hail is certainly the primary threat with this particular storm. Let's go back to Skyscan Doppler because as this moves closer to Clinton, really want to be giving a heads up to anybody that's in the Clinton area. If you're listening to this live stream, if you've got a vehicle, park it in a garage, park it in a carport, something where it will not be impacted. If you're driving, I would highly recommend pulling off the road because when this starts hitting on 65, I mean, this is large enough hail that it could bust windshields. So just keep that in mind. This is a very strong, intense storm, and it continues to progress to the east. So we're watching this very close. And like I said, this is going to be headed directly towards Clinton at the way it looks right now. We're continuing to track this. If you know anybody in these areas, they need to be watching this storm very closely. And we are going to continue to watch this. As of right now, the latest scan still estimating, according to radar, close to 2-inch hail. Now, it shows 1 inch there because that's technically what it's identifying, but it's still very strong. If we look, yeah, it's right there. You can see the most defined area of where that hail core is going to be to the north of Jerusalem, over towards Appleton, and then near Cleveland. That's the area. It does look like, let's see. It does look like it may be weakening. I mean, look at how strong it was then. But I think what it did is I think it dropped that large hail. And so now that it dropped the large hail, it's got to re-strengthen. So just pray that it doesn't re-strengthen. But given the environment, it's very possible this will re-strengthen as it moves east. Where can we watch you on YouTube? It's actually still under the Blizzard and Blaze Weather on YouTube. We're live on there. But you can see, I mean, right there for Scotland, anybody in Scotland, like I said, Scotland, Clinton, Botkenberg, it may actually, the strongest may go to the south of Botkenberg. Denard, I think this is probably going to miss you, but direct path still to Clinton, the way it looks right now. If we go back to Max and we get a better idea on this, let's zoom in. And so we see Austin just to the north. Between Austin and Rex, that area is getting very large hail. And then this is also moving off towards Scotland. And then actually the newest track, let's see if we put this into motion. The newest track, Clinton's still going to be impacted by this, definitely. Does it go to the very edge just south of Clinton? According to this, it's showing that, but I feel like it's still moving. It's got a northeasterly direction on it. So I'm not sold that Clinton's going to miss this. I don't think they will. Does the worst maybe go south of Clinton? Maybe over towards Choctaw. But regardless, this is a very strong destructive storm that needs to be watched very closely here. Watching from Choctaw, starting to hail in Scotland. Thank you for that report. Let me know if we got a lot of reports coming in here. Let me know if, you know, obviously it's going to be a little bit tough to estimate the hail size, but let me know if you think it's pretty large hail or if it's just tiny hail, because it could just be a lot of small, tiny hail versus a big amount of hail, but it's certainly dropping some type of hail, and we got reports of that coming in right now. So we're continuing to watch this storm, but if you know anybody in Scotland, I'm telling you, Scotland really needs to be watching this storm very closely. So we're continuing to watch this here. We've got Denard, Botkenberg, Clinton, Choctaw, Damascus, B Branch, 65 here. This area, specifically from Denard down to B Branch, in that general area is under the gun with this storm. So you need to be watching this very closely. It's got very large hail, and matter of fact, the newest scan increasing the hail size again. It had 1.30, 1.3, and now it's up to 1.46. So we're getting up there again on the hail size. So I think the storm itself is re-strengthening pretty quickly. So Scotland, watch this storm very closely. Clinton, watch this. Denard, again, I think it's going to miss Denard. I think you may get some heavy rain with this, but I'm serious. I think Van Buren County is fixing to get some large hail, especially if this continues to hold the way that it is trending right now. We're going to continue to watch this and going to continue to follow this particular storm. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But watching very closely here, Clinton, Denard, there's a new update on the severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see. I feel like there's going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning coming real quick. And it's going to extend this Polygon and Old Lexington, Shirley, Fairfield Bay, Morganton. Those areas will be included in this. Just a very strong, intense storm here. Let me look at, check on something real fast. Yeah, radar is estimating still very strong on the hail right now. Give me just 1 second. So looking at track and the way this is trending, I still think Clinton under the gun with this. Strongest may go just to the south of Clinton, but it's certainly Clinton needs to be watching this very closely here. So there's no tornado warning. There's not even a tornado threat with this particular storm, at least right now. There's no rotation, but what we do see is we see large hail. I hear the thunder. So this is strengthening again. We're showing now almost 2-inch hail. So we have increased from a little over an inch now to almost 2 inches. So, and that makes sense. I mean, given the environment, it's very possible. I think this storm's going to intensify rapidly here in the next few minutes. So I had to get a drink of water real quick. So let's continue to watch this. And I think anybody between Scotland and Clinton, watch this storm very closely. So very intense storm moving through. It's moving to the east. It does have some large hail. If we look at that, yeah, see. So here's what we had. We had very strong destructive hail just to the south of Smyrna, between Appleton and Smyrna, and I think this was very intense. Then watch, it dropped that hail storm, kind of weakened, and now we're starting to increase again. Direct path, I think, at least the way this is looking right now, um, the strongest and most intense part, I think, is going to be between Clinton and Choctaw in that general area. So if you know anybody in those locations, they need to be watching this storm very closely. We're continuing, and I know we're going to get reports, especially as this starts moving into Clinton. This is your heads up right now, guys. For anybody in Clinton driving on 65 between Botkenberg, Clinton, Choctaw, this is your opportunity to be watching this storm very closely and be keeping a heads up. I know as this storm moves east, we're going to have a lot more people tuning into this broadcast, because they're probably wondering what's going on here. Hopefully everybody knew there was a chance of severe weather. If you didn't, there is a chance. And it's right on our doorstep right now. This is the only storm really in the state that we're tracking is in Van Buren County. There's one here in Searcy County, but it's just falling apart. I think it's capped up there and it can't take advantage of the atmosphere. But this, it is taking advantage of the atmosphere, and that's why it's getting stronger. So we're still continuing to see an increase in the hail core with this. So I know there's some questions about the future and upcoming job, and I will talk about that here in a little while. Let the weather calm down and I'll talk about it. But so right there, we've got a pretty defined hail core just to the north of Scotland. You can see that. You see where the red and the purple, where you see the dark purple, that right there is an increase in hail size. And so according to what we're seeing, we're looking at 61 dBz. So very strong storm, indicating some very large hail with this. And so we continue to watch this. And I think this is, I think it's fixing to pick up in Clinton. I think it's fixing to get pretty stormy in Clinton. Now, according to this particular storm and this radar, it shows the strongest hail moving to the south of Clinton. But I still think you've got very heavy rain moving through the area. Checking to see any signs of rotation. I don't see anything that would indicate rotation. I see some stronger winds on the leading edge of this. But for the most part, I think this is a damaging hail risk. So we're continuing to track this and continuing to follow this. Yeah, Charles, I mean, it's literally the only storm in Arkansas. Like, what are the chances of it just going right through Van Buren County? So if we kind of zoom in here, and you can see right where that hail is. Raining in Clinton now. Thank you for that report. I think the winds are kind of dying down on this a little bit. They're not looking as defined as what they were. They were a little bit brighter there and a little bit more intense. And now it's weakening. I think the storm might be weakening just a little bit. And it may be because it was dropping some pretty large hail. It intensified to about 2-inch hail. It may have dropped that, and now it's starting to decrease again. But it's still a very strong storm. And the atmosphere is very supportive to continue this storm. So I think it's very possible it will intensify again. And as fast as this storm went up earlier, I mean, man, just look at how strong this bad boy was. I mean, that's an intense storm. And now it's still intense. Don't get me wrong, it's still intense and close to 1-inch hail, but it's certainly showing a decreasing state right now. But again, I can't stress this enough. Given the storm environment and the storm fuel we have, you know, it's very possible that this rapidly intensifies again pretty quick. So that's why I'm going to stay on this storm until it moves out of Van Buren County. I'm not ending the stream. We're not anywhere close to ending it because I just want to see what it does. I really think, especially the southern part of Clinton is fixing to get it with the hail. So latest radar scan showing over an inch of hail right now. Let's see what this does. But again, if I go back to our meso analysis, just look. Now I know this is pretty confusing and there's a lot on here, right? But you see winds, but then you also have the meso data. And so this is storm fuel. A lot of storm fuel. Plenty of storm fuel. You've got a ton of storm fuel in Texas, up towards the edge of Oklahoma, and then all of Arkansas. And so you've got one storm, and that one particular storm is taking advantage of the storm fuel. So this is mesoanalysis data. Let me mute this because this is making a lot of noise. Very unstable. Absolutely. There's your new severe thunderstorm warning. I know phones are starting to go off now. This does include Old Lexington, Shirley, Fairfield Bay, Morganton. Those areas are now in the severe thunderstorm warning. Again, I think the strongest part of this storm is going to be headed towards Clinton or just south of Clinton. So let's continue to watch this. It's starting to crank up again on hail. It's with an environment like this, you can have storms and they're very strong. And then all of a sudden, they decrease a little bit, drop the hail, and then rapidly intensify. And so, any moment in time, this thing could rapidly intensify, and it would not surprise me if it grows up to 3-inch hail. We have seen that time and time again. We've seen that with this particular storm. It looked like it was decreasing as we got close to Hector, Smyrna. Radar was estimating at one point close to 4-inch hail. So, it's certainly possible that this storm is kind of, I want to use the word cycling. And so, we're basically seeing kind of decrease and then it re-intensifies again. So we're just staying right here on this live stream. We're staying right here. We're going to continue to watch this very closely as this continues to progress to the east. So I'm serious. I think anybody in Clinton needs to be really watching this storm very closely. It's just a very intense storm. Regardless of the hail threat with this or the wind threat, there's certainly a heavy rain threat, and I'm sure I don't have it turned on, but I know there's a lot of lightning with this particular storm. So, regardless of the other threats I mentioned, like I said, you've still got lightning here. Let's see if I can turn the lightning on. Yeah, there's lightning right there. Yeah, that's got a lot of lightning. Pretty electrified. You can hear it too. Here at the Weather Center, I can hear the thunder in the background. So it's fixing to really start storming in Clinton. So if you know anybody in Clinton, give them a heads up. If you're on 65, you definitely need to be pulling off the road right now. Pea-size hail in Clinton, car wash across from Walmart. Thank you for that report, Grant. So yeah, the hail threat it's moving through Clinton right now. It's storming. Pretty strong storm there. I still think the worst of it is probably going to go just to the south of Clinton, or at least that's the way it looks right now. If we look at which this is a little bit delayed here. This is delayed, but you can see just a very intense storm moving to the east, impacting Clinton. Hailing downtown Clinton, thank you for that report. Hailing in Crabtree, thank you for that report. Guys, is this large hail or are you just getting small hail? I mean, obviously don't go outside. That's dangerous. But I didn't know if you can hear it hitting your windows, if it sounds more like destructive hail or large destructive hail, or does it sound more like just small hail, like pea-size hail? So we see that the hail core continues to be present. May not be as strong as what it was earlier, but still a very strong storm. And let's see what we're showing now. Okay, we're starting to increase again. We're right around almost 2-inch hail, according to radar. So again, we're seeing the storm kind of recycling here, and it kind of decreases, and now we're increasing again. So the thing is, we're about, according to this, uh, it's getting stronger. Heavy rain now. Hail has stopped for now. Okay. Thank you for that report. That's good. Um, it's probably going to change the next radar update. Um, we're getting, I hear the pager going off in the back. They're paging off the severe thunderstorm warning. Pea-size hail at the county offices. Thank you for that report. So we've got multiple reports coming in now that there is hail in Clinton, and this is going to continue. It could strengthen, especially as it's moving to the east. So we're watching this very closely. Had hail at Zion Hill. Thank you for that report. I hear the scanner pager going off right now for the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued for Van Buren County. So we see there's the hail core, and it's between Scotland and Clinton right now. And it's certainly it's certainly showing signs that it's increasing again. Yeah. Yeah, it's starting to pick back up now. We're right around 2-inch hail with this. So the storm itself is continuing to strengthen. We're going to continue to watch this very closely. Where's the safest place to go in Clinton? That's a great question. I know that school's in session right now, so I don't think the schools would be open. But if you're driving, I would just try to find a gas station and go inside of that gas station, maybe um, Casey's or maybe Walmart. I mean, those aren't the safest locations, but it's a lot better than being, driving. So there's really no like legitimate certified safe room in Van Buren County. The only one that's closest would be Clinton, and that's at the school. And I don't know that that's unlocked, given that there's school right now. So Scotland, Clinton, very strong storm, continues to show signs of increasing. I think this is starting to ramp up again, guys. I really do. And I think we're going to get reports that the hail's getting larger in Clinton. That's not going to surprise me at all. Um, the hail that you have experienced earlier may have just been on the leading edge of the storm, but the main hail core itself may be just getting to Clinton. So that's something just to take into account here. Denard, you're clear. Not seeing anything. Botkenberg, I think you're just getting heavy rain. I think the focus right now is going to be Clinton to Choctaw. Clinton to Choctaw. In that area, I think is very strong. And need to watch this storm close. I'm just curious to see what we're going to see on the next radar update. I do know lightning has increased. We could see that. And if we go ahead and if we go max real quick, let's go max and we'll get a better idea of where this is going to be impacting here. So looking at what we're seeing, so here's Clinton, right? So you've got Patton Street right there. There's Clinton. So, I mean, this storm is going just the strongest hail core with this is probably going to be going, it's probably right over Walnut Grove, moving towards Choctaw. It's going to be between Clinton and Choctaw. I'm serious. If you're on Highway 65, you probably need to pull off the road because this is going to be rough to drive through. Totally missed us in Scotland. Good. That's good. That's good. I anticipate what happened is you probably got heavy rain though. Yeah. So it shows it missed it. So that's good. You probably got heavy rain. You might be getting a little bit of heavy rain right now, but the good news is that hail core went to the north of you, which if you look at the track of this and the storm motion and movement, this almost makes me think that I think we've got hail here at the Weather Center right now. We've got hail. It's hailing here at the Weather Center because I can hear it. Guys, we're showing now over 2-inch hail. This storm itself is rapidly intensifying again. So this is an alert to anybody that is in the Clinton, Botkenberg, Choctaw area. Very strong storm continues to intensify. I think it's storming very strong right now. I think it's pretty intense in Clinton as this moves east. Radar is estimating continues to increase on hail size. So small hail here on Oler Road. Yeah, I knew I could hear it hitting the top of the roof. So I knew there was some hail falling near the weather center. I'm driving, about to be out of Greenbrier heading towards Clinton. Justin, I would pull off the road. I would not. The closer you get to Clinton, the more intense this is going to be. Clinton to Choctaw, very strong storm. And I don't want to use the word, well, I'll go ahead and say it. This could be a dangerous storm because of the hail threat. So raining Culpeper, nothing in Choctaw. That's fixing to change. That is fixing to change, and it's going to change real quick. So it may not be doing anything in Choctaw right now, but that is certainly fixing to change. And I know it's storming. It's probably storming pretty intense in Clinton. We don't have a camera. I wish we did, but if we could see into Clinton right now, I fully anticipate it is coming down here. Because I know at the Weather Center, which we're north of Clinton, the current Weather Center, that is, we're getting a little bit of hail here. Hailing in Walmart in Clinton. Thank you for that report. Highway 9 Choctaw. I assume that's a report maybe. Hailing again at Jolie Chevrolet. Thank you for that report. Raining Culpeper. So lightning's increasing. We're seeing an increase in the hail threat with this. Certainly a very strong storm. We're going to continue to watch this. Okay, yes, I'll pull over. I think that's a great idea, Justin, because, yeah, you probably won't get into anything until you get close to B Branch. But as you get closer to that Choctaw time, I would wait this out. It's the only storm. There's really nothing else going on. It's the only storm in Arkansas other than this one up here towards Gassville, but it's falling apart. This is the monster storm. It's taking all the energy right now. Hailing at Pizza Hut in Clinton. Thank you for that report. I know there's numerous locations probably getting hail right now, and the hail is probably increasing. That's what it appears to be right now. Um, so we are over 2 inches according to radar now. Let's see what this does. Um, let's continue to watch this storm very closely. Anybody in Choctaw, Clinton, guys, this is a very strong storm, and you need to take this literally. And obviously, there's no tornado threat with this. I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see any rotation or anything, but this is a very strong storm here. Nothing near Welcome to Clinton sign by Choctaw now, but I hear thunder. Thank you for that report, Donna. That's going to change, though. I'm telling you, if you're in Clinton or you're in Choctaw, you're fixing to get it. Rain and sunshine across the street from you, Blaze. Thank you for that report. It does look like the sun's coming out a little bit. Honey Hill subdivision got hail. Thank you for that report. Hailing Culpeper off and on. Thank you for that report. Hail downtown Clinton. Thank you for that report. So according to the newest radar scan, weakening again just a little bit, but we're still right around that 2-inch mark. So there's certainly still hail with this. This storm just continues. It tenses up and then it decreases, and it tenses up and then it decreases. Just kind of goes back and forth. And as of right now, we're back into that weakening stage. And I think the reason for that is because it potentially is dropping the hail. So I can take a look at it in a 3D look. Yeah, that hail's pretty much making it to the ground. I don't have the 3D pulled up where you guys can see that, but I'm looking at it for myself, and it's right there. Yeah, that hail's making it to the ground. Now the look on this bad boy, that is a classic supercell look. I mean, that is your typical supercell. I think the hail threat is going to continue for Clinton. Starting to rain pretty heavy, ping pong size hail. Thank you for that report. How fast do you think it will move through Clinton? It will probably be out. Oh, hail is getting bigger here. Yep. Unfortunately, that's what's probably fixing to take place. And we're probably going to see more reports of that increasing. We've got hailing in Culpeper. Hail is getting bigger here. She was at Chevrolet Place in Clinton. Oh, my car. That's not good. Um, Unfortunately, I'm afraid we're going to get some reports here continuing to come in. Hail and Clinton, thank you for that report. We're just kind of sitting, waiting for reports to come in because I know that it is very intense in Clinton right now. I know that there is a very intense storm here. We're going to continue to watch this storm very closely here. We've got lots of wind and thunder in Leslie. So we're watching this storm very closely here. Um, we're continuing to watch this storm. The structure of it does look like that classic supercell. What I'm watching now, given that, all right, given the environment here, there is, and I mean very broad here. So I want you to understand this very broad rotation just to the south of Clinton. But the storm itself does have that look. It's got that structure to it. I'm not saying as of right now they would not be issuing a tornado warning. Not right now. But it has inflow. It's got very strong inflow. And I'm real curious to see now with the structure, the shape of this, and the inflow that it's got, given as much storm fuel as we've got. I just wonder what's going to happen with the storm. Is it going to intensify? I would not be surprised if it does. I think we're probably fixing to see this thing ramp up pretty quick here in the next little bit. So we're continuing to watch this very closely. I think we've got large destructive hail in Clinton right now. Intense in Clinton. Thank you for that report, Warren. Big hail in Clinton. Thank you for that report. Yeah, that hail is moving. I mean, the hail core itself is located directly over Clinton right now. So, and if the storm is intensifying, see the radar, the scans are a little bit delayed. So it happens first there. It may be getting stronger in Clinton before we get the report or see that on our radar. So just keep that in mind. But we're almost a 2-inch hail again, according to the current radar scan. And I'm telling you, it's smack dab right over Clinton. So tree just fell down in downtown Clinton. Thank you for that report. Tree just fell down. Okay. Hitting my house windows hard down by the library. Thank you for that report. Watching in Clinton, 95 West. Yeah, so we're getting numerous reports now of large destructive hail, very intense storm moving through the Clinton area. We're continuing to watch this very closely. It's right over Clinton. The strongest part of this storm is directly over Clinton. And so, you know, we're seeing, there is some broad rotation with this. It's not enough to issue a tornado warning, but it's certainly something we're going to have to watch. If it does continue to have this inflow coming in, and you can see it, it's got the structure and the shape, it would indicate two things. The hail's fixing to ramp up pretty strong or pretty significant, or this could start to increase in rotation. But right now, I think the hail threat is primary threat right now with this. Hail is bigger now, and the bottom just came out. I hate to hear this, guys. This is not what I want to hear. Hail's getting back to us at Car Wash, large hail, sunshine of Bockenberg with blue skies. That's good. Sun popping out in Clinton. So we're getting numerous reports here now of very large hail taking place in the Clinton area. Guys, I hate to hear that. You don't want these storms to happen. And the good news is I do think that things are going to start to calm down for the Clinton area here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So that's good. But as of right now, it's pretty intense. And I know there's a lot happening here. Wind, rain, and hail stopped on 95 West. Sun is shining. Good, good. That tells me right there that the storm itself is moving out of the area. So, and it's moving pretty quick, but there's still very large destructive hail heading towards Fairfield Bay. I think this is a direct path to Fairfield Bay. So if you know anybody in Fairfield Bay, they need to be watching the storm very closely. Sun just came out downtown, getting scary calm. Actually, that's a good thing today with this. So that's great that things are calming down in Clinton. Let's see. Sun's out on Holly Mountain. It was looking pretty nasty. Yeah. It got pretty intense in Clinton from the reports I got. Nate says, thanks, Blaze. You're welcome. Tasha says, thank you, Blaze, for awesome weather reporting. You're welcome. Completely stopped and sun out. Okay. Well, in most cases, I would say, well, that's bad that the sun's out. But in this case, if the sun is out, that tells me that the storm itself is moving out of the area. So, if anybody's got any video or any damage or anything like that, send it my way. I would love to see it. Um, but I know by some of the comments, it got pretty intense in Clinton. Storm itself is continuing. I don't want to take anything away from it, but I do think if you're in Clinton, you may be on the route to be all clear here in a little bit. Small pea-sized hail in the Choctaw with light rain, pea-sized hail in Shirley. This is going to increase. The hail threat is going to increase with this. You've got Shirley to Fairfield Bay, very intense storm moving to the east. And again, there's that increased lightning. I think the lightning may be on the increase more than what it has been. So I'll tell you, and I'll just be transparent here. Right there, it was trying to rotate. Now, that's not what we would consider rotation, but we do see winds going towards the radar sign and winds going away. And they were starting to spin just a little bit. You could see that. There it was. But it wasn't enough that they would issue a tornado warning or anything like that. There was certainly not enough rotation for that. But it was enough that there was, I think the primary threat with this was certainly a hail threat. So we're continuing to watch this particular storm very strong. Oof, that's getting stronger. That is rapidly intensifying again. We see this is headed directly for Fairfield Bay. Anybody in the Fairfield Bay area needs to be watching this storm very closely. I think there's large destructive hail with this heading for the Fairfield Bay area. We see the DBZ level. Look at that. That's 68 DBZ. There's large destructive hail with this, and this is starting to increase here. Oh, great. I'm driving from Fairfield Bay through Shirley to get home now. Oh, my. Oh, my. Where are you at? Where are you at? Because that's not good. If you're in Fairfield Bay, I would hang out there in Fairfield Bay. I would not chance getting on the road here because this is very large destructive hail moving through. So if you know anybody in the Fairfield Bay area, they need to be watching this very closely. Go ahead and share this, tag this, tell whoever, because this is a very destructive storm moving towards the Fairfield Bay area. And again, I want to bring note, this is the only storm. Well, now this one's increased a little bit towards Mountain Home, but still very strong. Okay, I would wait. I would wait. If you're in Fairfield Bay, I would wait it out. If you start driving, you're going to get into the middle of this, and it's not going to be good. Your visibility is going to be cut. You're going to have large hail heading your direction. So, yeah. I would recommend just staying there. Sunny and Clinton, thank you for that report. So we're continuing to track this. We're going to continue to follow this particular storm, but we've got large destructive hail. I think the next radar update we get is certainly going to show higher hail threat with this. Yeah, I think the hail threat's increasing for the Fairfield Bay area. Pretty much a rapid intensification is what's taking place. And we're seeing that on the reflectivity first before any of the other, yeah. I'm not going to be surprised if this starts really ramping up on this next scan, given the environment, the way things are looking right now. We're continuing to watch this storm very closely here. Hail at my place in Shirley. Thank you for that report. Marble size hail in Shirley. That's going to pick up. I think the worst hail, though, is going to be over towards Fairfield Bay. Hailing in Fairfield Bay now, Mount Ranch Golf Course. Thank you for that report. Guys, we're going to get a lot more reports of that, especially in the Fairfield Bay area here in the next, I'd say, 15 minutes. There it is, quarter-size hail in Banner Mountain. Thank you for that report. Yeah, we've got numerous reports starting to come in now. Hail in Fairfield Bay, that's going to increase. Unfortunately, we're going to get more reports of that, and I'm hoping that this is starting to decrease, but given the environment, the storm fuel, it's not likely that this thunderstorm is decreasing right now. If anything, this is increasing. Well, what road is that where the black spot is? I actually don't have roads on this particular product, but give me a second and I'll tell you. It looks like right over, let me zoom in. Oregon Road? Between Oregon Road and Orchard Road. Those areas. That appears to be the locations where that dark spot is. But don't take it literally because, you know, it just kind of it gives us a good idea, but the storm itself, this does a better job at seeing that hail core, which is, that's right on. That's right on with the reflectivity scan. But according to this, it's only showing a little bit over 1-inch hail. So, hailed like crazy. Wow. There's a new radar scan. I certainly think this storm continues to remain very strong with hail associated with this. Shirley to Fairfield Bay. I'm telling you, Fairfield Bay. If you're getting hail right now, which I know we got reports, but I think that's going to increase over the next 5 minutes. I think we're going to see an increase. Just waiting for some more reports coming in here. We're continuing to watch this storm. And we're live on this. Sun's out. Burnt Ridge. According to the newest radar scan, it does appear. It appears that it just dropped all that hail and intensified, right? And you saw that. I bet you the next reflectivity scan, it's going to be mainly just heavy rain. There's some hail here, but it's certainly a lot less intense than what it was. I think the strongest part that we've seen was when it was over Clinton. I really wish I had a sky cam at Clinton or some way of knowing what was going on in Clinton. I saw your reports, but it looked pretty intense on radar. I've never seen raindrops that big before in Clinton, and I'm 62. Wow. Hailing at the hotel in Fairfield Bay. Thank you for that report. We're going to continue to get more reports here. Just heavy rain now in Fairfield Bay. Yeah, it does appear to me the storm may be weakening some. That's great news. It does appear. Like, I think Shirley, I don't think they're dealing with any hail right now. I think Fairfield Bay could still be dealing with some hail, but I think the storm itself does appear to be weakening. Hailing in Fairfield Bay. Thank you for that report, though, Krista. Yeah, there's some areas in Fairfield Bay that I think is still seeing some hail, but I don't think it's, see, look, it's definitely decreasing now. It's not showing that intense amount of hail that it was. Is Concord in the path of the storm? Let's look. Yeah, actually Concord is, because Concord's right here by Banner over towards Almond. Yep, that's going to be, yeah, that's headed towards Concord. No, I'm not seeing any kind of signs of rotation. It's still got some inflow to it, but guys, this storm, I wonder if it's starting to get into a capped area, capped environment. Because this thing sure is weakening. That's exactly what's going on. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on here. Let's go mesoanalysis for a second. I want to give you all a quick thing. So you see, there is a cap. And I think this cap, the cap's starting to interfere with it. I think it's prohibiting some of the development here. Yeah, see, there was a cap riding this, and storms that got in front of the cap. See, there was the cap this morning, and then the cap broke, but there's still a cap, and it's on the very leading edge of the storm. And so I think that there's a chance that it is causing this storm to decrease some. Still showing and looks to be very intense in terms of storm activity, but I like what I see. I'm not saying the hail threat's completely gone with this because there's certainly still hail with this, almost 1 inch, but there's not looking like 2 or 3 inch hail with this. So that's good news. Now, it did get intense in Clinton. It certainly did. As it moved east, it dropped that hail. And given that there's a cap, I think it may struggle to re intensify again. But we'll just have to wait and see. There's a question about more storms coming tonight. I was looking at that earlier. Um, since things are kind of calming down a little bit here. Heavy pea-sized hail, Fairfield Bay, Cleburne County side. Thank you for that report. Um, I think that's probably going to be at least the highest hail size that I can see is definitely pea-sized hail. There's a boundary that moves through, and that boundary that pushes through that is showing the thunderstorms intensify. The newest model guidance. The newest model guidance. Let's see. It's showing more development about 5 o'clock, but again, the other day it showed storms at 5, and we got storms at 1. So there's a chance this is just the storms, but I don't know. Since we've got so much storm fuel that I don't think's much being impacted by this storm. It would not surprise me if, but yeah, that's exactly what's going on. That cap is taking over, and it's causing this storm. It's not allowing it to rise like it needs to, and so it's causing the storm to really start to die down, and that's what we're seeing, which is really good news. So, I mean, as of right now, if we're being honest here, this storm, I mean, it's not even severe. Like, yeah, there's a severe thunderstorm warning on it, but like there's 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. That's not severe. And there's only just half-inch hail with this. And that's not severe. So if it continues to show signs that it's decreasing, then I could see them canceling the severe thunderstorm warning. But given the environment, like I want to bring this very clear. Given the environment, if the storms could just bypass that cap, then it would explode rapidly. And that's what we saw earlier. But I think now we're starting to cap again. This storm is riding a cap, and that cap is in front of the storm, and it's causing it to die down. And again, this is really the only storm. We've got a stronger one up here towards Mountain Home, but really, this is the only one that we've been watching for the last several hours. We've been live for almost an hour now. So as it moved into Van Buren County, we stayed with it. And as it moved out, we're staying with it. Now, once it goes into Cleburne County, that's out of our coverage area. So I will be ending the stream, but I will give you updates and stuff before. And if you're just kind of wondering, you're a little confused, we've changed the name. We're no longer Blizzard and Blaze Weather. I still may call it that here and there. YouTube still Blizzard and Blaze Weather, but Facebook is now Blaze Thomas Weather. So that's my new weather page. And if you haven't heard, I am joining the KNWA Fox 24 team in Fayetteville. And so we'll be joining them. My first day is in June, and I am so excited. It's a dream come true opportunity. So we're continuing to watch this storm. I do see signs that it is decreasing. So that is really good news. And I'm just checking a couple things here. Great news. So happy for you. Yes, Justin, he is. He is awesome, and I am so excited. Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you. So, the worst part of the storm moved out of Van Buren County now. Maybe some heavy rain on the Van Buren Cleburne County line, but for the most part, I mean, and you can see the lightning's decreased on this too. So the storm itself is really weakened. So we'll stay on. We'll stay on for the next 4-ish minutes, and then we're ending the stream here. There's not much more. I mean, look at this. Look at this, though. I mean, severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning. I mean, Missouri is getting rocked right now. But just Van Buren County, pretty much. The other day, same thing happened. We have 4 tornado warnings at one time. And guess what county? Van Buren County. Like, man, what are the chances? Like, what are the chances? Like, anywhere else could have tornado warnings. But Van Buren County, 4 tornado warnings. It was the only storm we were tracking. It was wild. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And all sunshine in Fairfield Bay. Good deal. Good deal. Now that the storm is past here, right? It's not good that we have sunshine. It was good at first because that told us that the storm was decreasing, but more sunshine equals more storm fuel. And as the boundary moves, does it spark more storms close to 5, 6 o'clock? We'll be watching to see if that happens. So we'll stay on for the next 3 minutes and then we're ending the stream. Storm itself, anybody, Goose Ferry up towards Primm, still a strong storm, still does have some hail with it. Radar's now estimating 1-inch hail. It does appear it may be strengthening some, but continue to watch this storm very closely. Sunshine, Memory Lane, thank you for that report. And there will be many digital ways of watching me at KNWA. And I'll be joining the team. And when they do Facebook Lives, which they do a lot of Facebook Lives. And that's the thing. People are worried that the Facebook Lives will stop. They do a lot of Facebook Lives. So I'll be joining them on the Facebook Lives. So, and they've got a lot better equipment and tools than I do here. So, just exciting things. Exciting things. I told y'all, what was it? It's been a while. I said there's exciting things in the works. And I wasn't kidding. I just couldn't tell you what it was, but I was excited. And I'm pumped. It's a dream come true opportunity. And yeah. It's exciting. All right, guys. So storm itself out of the area. Some heavy rain to the east of Fairfield Bay. There's some small hail up towards Goose Ferry. We're done. We're done for this area. So this is a great question. Nancy says, will you still be able to cover here too? Here's the thing about that. So obviously KNWA, it's not in their coverage area, right? Searcy County, Van Buren County, not in their coverage area. But since they do so many Facebook Lives, you guys can jump on there and we can still chat. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, the focus will be 100% primarily KNWA, their viewing area. 100%. But as storms move east, if we're live, we can, as they move east, if they stay on them like today, they were tracking storms before I went live. They were tracking the severe storm in the Hector area, the Pope County area. That's not in their coverage area, but people were on there on the live stream, so they continued to cover. And then as soon as they kind of ended after Pope County, I took it over and went live here for Van Buren County. So just make sure you're following the page and join us live. Continues to weaken. So, all right, guys, we've been live for an hour. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Shirley, Fairfield Bay, Morganton, B Branch, Van Buren County, Searcy County, you're clear. We're going to have to watch as this boundary moves through. Have to watch any more development. I don't see anything right now, but it's certainly something we're going to continue to watch. So, all right, guys. Well, There's a new radar scan. It is officially out of Van Buren County and nothing for Searcy County. Y'all have a good day. And if we need to go live later, we'll be here. Be keeping you guys updated. We'll see you later. Y'all have a good day.